Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is NURUL HANIS binti Azman, matrix number S66761. For today, I'm going to explain more about initial IMO strategy in reduction of GHG emission from ships by Marpol. First thing that we need to know, what is IMO? IMO is an international maritime organization that continues to contribute to the global fight against climate change in support of UN Sustainable Development in Goal 13. In 2018, IMO has adopted this initial strategy. However, in July 2023, according to Maritime Environment Protection (MEPC 80), IMO has adopted the 2033 IMO strategy on reduction of GHG emission from ships in accordance with the agreed program to follow up actions. The 2023 initial strategy represents a framework to set up future vision, level of ambition, guiding principle, identify barriers, and also supportive measures. The 2033 GHG strategy envisaged a reduction in carbon intensity of international shipping as it also includes a specific reference to pursuing efforts towards phasing them out as called for in the vision consistent with the long-term temperature goals set out in Article 2 of the Paris Agreement. For these initial strategies, IMO remains committed to reducing GHG emissions from international shipping and, as a matter of urgency, it aims to phase them out as soon as possible while promoting in the context of this strategy a just and equitable transitions. The 2023 IMO GHG strategy identifies level of emission for the international shipping sector, noting that the technological innovation and the global introduction of alternative fuels or energy sources for international shipping will be integral to achieve the overall ambition. Reviews should take into account updated emissions in emissions reduction options for international shipping and the reports of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) and future IMO GHG inventories and studies as relevant to assess progress toward reaching net zero GHG emissions of international shipping. The levels of ambition and indicative checkpoints should take into account the well-to-wake GHG emissions of marine fuels as addressed in the Guidelines on Life Cycle GHG Intensity of Marine Fuels (LCA) guidelines, developed by the organization with the overall objective of reducing GHG emission within the boundaries of the energy system of international shipping and preventing a shift of emission to other sectors. Levels of ambitions directing to 2033 IMO GHG strategy are as follows. The first one, carbon intensity of the ship to decline through further improvement of the energy efficiency for new ship is to review with the aim of strengthening the energy efficiency design requirements for ships. The second one is carbon intensity of international shipping to decline is to reduce CO2 emissions per transport work as an average across international shipping by at least 40% by 2030 compared to 2008. Uptake of zero or near zero GHG emission technologies, fuels, or energy sources to increase uptake of zero or near zero GHG emission technology, fuels, or energy sources to represent at least 5% striving for 10% of the energy used by international shipping by 2030. And last but not least is GHG emission from international shipping to reach net zero. In the order to peak GHG emissions from international shipping as soon as possible and to reach net zero GHG emissions by around close to 2050, taking into account different national circumstances whilst pursuing efforts toward phasing them out as called for in the vision consistent with the long-term temperature goals set out in Article 2 of the Paris Agreement. So, the other indicative checkpoints that provided in this initial strategy is introduces this strategy introduces indicative checkpoints to reach net zero GHG emissions from international shipping, namely as to reduce the total annual GHG emissions from international shipping by at least 20%, striving for 30% by 2030 compared to 2008, and to reduce the total annual GHG emissions from international shipping by at least 70%, striving for 80% by 2040 compared to 2008. In accordance to support the implementation of IMO's strategic energy efficiency measures, there is three major global projects executed by IMO. The first project is the Global Maritime Energy Efficiency Partnership Project, GLOMIP, launched in 2015 in collaboration with the Global Environment Facility and the United Nations Development Programme. The second one is a Global Industry Alliance to support low carbon shipping, or GIA, launched in 2017. The third one, which is the last one, is the Global Maritime Technology Network. GMN established a network of five maritime technology corporation centers (MTCCs) in Africa, Asia, the Caribbean, Latin America, and the Pacific. So here we come to the conclusion. The 2023 IMO strategy on the reduction of GHG emissions from ships outlines goals to achieve net zero emissions by around 2050. Key targets include reducing the carbon intensity of shipping by at least 40% by 2030 compared to 2008, and ensuring zero or near zero GHG technologies represent at least 5 to 10% of energy use by 2030. The strategy emphasizes innovation, alternative fuels, capacity building, and equity, aligning with the Paris Agreement temperature goals. There is two references that I used in this project for this presentation. The first one is 2023 IMO strategy on reduction of GHG emissions from ships. The second one is the IMO initial strategy for reducing greenhouse gas GHG emissions and its follow-up actions towards 2050. And here we come to the end. Thank you.